Assalamu alaikum, and welcome back to the second part of your water diary assessment task, where I'm going to show you how to create a line graph. So in our line graph, we have to make sure that we include these elements. We need a title, days of the week going along the bottom axis, our usage of water per day coming up the side. We need to have one line per person per week. So that means week 1, person 1, 2, and week 2, person 1, 2. So this will be its own color. This will be a separate one. This will be a different color from the first one, and then this will also be different. So we're going to have 4 different colors. And then we're going to include this key so that when we're looking at our graph, we can, me the marker, I can see exactly where the data sort of lies. So this is an example of a line graph here. This is vaguely what it's going to end up looking like. But because my printer is actually not working today, I'm going to be completing mine on Microsoft Office Word. But the exact same steps that I do here on the screen, you just need to replicate them on the page. It's very simple and straightforward. So the first thing we need to do is include our title. So what is our graph actually doing? So I'm going to put my title up here, and no, there we go. Sorry, it is a water diary usage, and it's a comparison. So I'm going to make this nice and large. Right. Underline it because that's what we do with a title. And just bang it up the top. Cool. Sorry, ignore me like fiddling with all the little stuff. So we've done our title. Let's tick that off. Boom. We need to have our days of the week along the bottom of the axis. So across here, just like in this example here. Now you can do yours fancy on the side. I don't have the botherance to be doing that, so I'm just going to type it in here. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So now I just need to make sure that I actually space this out properly. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to line up this first line here. Oh, sorry, the whatever you call this line here is going to be my first one. And then every second line, I'm going to have a new day. So I'm just lining up the word with every second line, if that makes sense. That's just how I want to do it. Friday, and then we, of course, need Saturday. Is our last one. Oops, every second one, Sam. There we go. For some reason, that doesn't look evenly spaced out. Cool. All right. So we've got our days along the bottom. And we also need to label that. So what I'm going to do is drag this down. And I'm actually going to tell you what this is, even though it's pretty obvious. Days of the week. See, just like that. Underline it. So already that's looking good. Then I need to... So I've done my days of the week along the bottom axis. Check. Usage of water per day on the side axis. So the way that I calculate this, I'm going to have this massive long text box. It's going to look ugly, but for you, you're going to make it look pretty. You want to figure out how many numbers do you actually need. You know, so I do this. I find out what's the lowest possible number in my data set, which is back here. Right, so I've got to think about all these numbers and then all these numbers and find out which is the lowest number and which is the highest. And I'm going to make sure the lowest is here and at least the highest. I always go a little bit higher than whatever the highest is. So let's look for the lowest. If I zoom in a squidge, the lowest on this side is maybe 111, right? And then if I come down to week 2, which should be lower because I've done my strategies. Okay, sorry, the lowest over here is 91. So let's just give it a comfortable 50 to start off with. So we're going to start off with 50. Now I'm going to come up just like that. So I'm going to place the 50 right on the line because when we have our data, we want it to be exact. So now I need to find out what's the highest number. So on this week 2, it shouldn't, we shouldn't have the highest number here, but the highest one seems to be 127. No, 130, 50, 158. But let's see if we get a high number up on this one. So week 1, we do. The highest number we've got, I think, is around 195, it looks like. So let's say 200. So as long as when we come up the page, we get from 50 to at least 200. So if I just quickly count, and this is literally what you would do. As you count up, you can count in 5. So it could be 50, 55, 60, 70, 80, 85, 90, 100. I don't think I'm actually going to make 200. I might only get to 150. So I'm going to try going in 10. So 50, 60, 70, 80, 100. 200's there, and we've got plenty of room. So I'm going to do it in 10s. So let's go upwards from here. 10. It's actually probably faster on a computer than it is in real life. 210. I could go 220. You know what? I might make that up there and I can just bring this further down. 40 and like 30. I could have even started at 0 if I wanted to. I think I definitely could have started at 0, but you know what? Just, you don't have to in a graph. As long as your numbers match up to a line, that's the most important part. If your numbers are hanging out in the middle and they're all uneven and they don't go up evenly, then you're in trouble. But just make sure they're evenly spaced all around. Then we need to create a label for this side. So it is amount of water used and then measured in liters. So that's the important part. Bring it over here. We're going to flip it on its side. Oops. Goodness me. I just want to underline. Please let me do it. There you go. Okay. So now we've got most of our tables set up. Along the bottom, we have our days of the week. Along our left hand or Y axis, we have the water used in liters. We've got our title, which is great. Now we just need to fill in our key. So our key, we need to separate this into week 1 and then week 2. Oops, 2. So person 1 is going to be Shari. Far out. There you go. And then week 2 is going to be person 1, person 2. Jeez, I can't type today. Just like that. Now, in my data set, I'll just get rid of that. Mouse doesn't want to work today. Now, in my data set over here, I've actually given 4 different colors already. So in week 1, for person 1, I've assigned them red. And I've already got my red line here. So what I'm going to do is just make sure that I highlight person 1 in red so that when I've got my lines on the graph, I know that every time I see a red line, I know it's person 1 in week 1, if that makes sense for you. I'll spoil it for you. It goes green for person 2 in week 1. And just to save time, you can I promise you, it then goes blue and purple. Look at this, already mapped out ahead of time because I'm a genius. Okay. So now comes the important part of actually plotting this data on the map. So I'm going to work on doing person 1 first. So I'm going to bring them over here. We can actually scoot this over as well. Now we can zoom in. All right. This is going to be the tedious part of it. So I've got all these different days that I need to log in for the red, for person 1, week 1. So I'm starting on 187 liters on Sunday. So what I'm going to do is find 187, which might be up here. I'm going to make sure that it's lined up on the line here. This is my starting point, and then we'll just chuck that there just for now. So my next one that I need to go to is 194. So what I would actually do, sorry, I will, I'll show you what I would normally do. Let's actually, sorry to take some time. Yeah, I would do this. Then I would go format, red, and make that, there you go. I would do something like this. Okay, so now what I can do is go 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we've got 7 day plots. So on Sunday they had 188, was it? We just check. 187, close enough. 194. 194 was the next day. Remember, I need to skip a line because it goes Sunday, skip, and then Monday. Tuesday was 188. And this is going to take me a while to sort of get through. 188. Wednesday, 180. So 180 is here. If you can see where all the 4 little dots are. 185. So 185 is just there. And 195, which is this line. So I should be putting it here. 195 for Friday. And then lastly, Saturday is 167, which is going to be way down here. So 167. So 160. So what I do is I always come up the side, find 167, and then just follow it across until I get into that line there. Cool. So now what I would have done on my piece of paper is do these dots and then just simply connected the lines like so. So you'd be drawing this instead, because this way takes definitely much longer. It's a whole lot more tedious. But you see now what we can do is between the 2 different people, can get a grasp of how their water usage actually tracks out per week. Now, I'm not actually going to do week 1, person 2 right now, because it would just literally be the same process again. What I will do, however, is bring this over here. I will do person 1, week 2. So I'm going to do person 1 again, and that way we can see the difference between the 2 weeks, right? Because the difference between the 2 is I've done my strategy. So let me come up here and just change the color to match my key. So it needs to be person 2, sorry, person 1, week 2. And I'm going to copy and paste that. 7 does, because I got my 7 weeks. And then I need to come down to week 2. So I'm going to find week 2. See, I told you it was in blue. And then I'm going to start plotting these numbers on. So it starts on the Sunday, it was 127. So I can see it's significantly lower. So I come to 120. 127 is about here in the middle. So I'm going to have my first dot just go there. 127, bam. My next number is 134. So if I come up the side, 134 is roughly there. Next one's going to be, let's have a look, 158. Oh, we come up high. 58 is about there. Down to 110. Whoa, right down to 110. Keeping in line. I'm good at keeping this lined up, but you need to definitely make sure that you're not getting this all squished up and out of whack, because then you're gonna have to just reprint and restart, and it's a nightmare. Thursday's 125, so Thursday's 125, which is about there. Yep, it's about there. Next one is 145 for Friday. So Friday I come up, make sure that's there. 145 is in the middle, and it's that line there. You don't actually know this, but I'm actually putting my finger on the screen so that I can just bring it straight there. And I would do that on the piece of paper as well. Then my last one is 127. So if I find 127, there where the 4 dots are, come all the way across. Boom. Now we're going to bring our blue across, connect all the dots, and now I can immediately see that there's a significant drop in liter usage or water usage between week 1 and week 2, which tells me, one, that my strategy's worked, so it's effective, and I forgot what second, but it tells me that the strategy is actually working, which is great. And I would be including that information in the analysis, which sort of comes down here. So you could discuss it in here, and you can also discuss the analysis findings down in here as well. Okay, so that's it. And then you repeat the process again for person 2, making sure the data is correct, and you're going to end up with a big, lovely table that's completely filled out. Thanks for watching, good luck, and I hope this has helped. Bye.